The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. This is Vanish from WSI ALM with another edition of our Launchpad series. It's the 1st of April, 2014. The year is just going by really quick. Not even sure where March went, but I guess that's a good thing. Unfortunately, Armando is unable to join us today. He had to take care of some stuff, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be with us next week. All right, so let's get started here. Great. So the usual format for everybody that normally attends our Launchpad webinars on Tuesdays, we have the latest news and articles that we'll be covering. And then again, I got yet another exciting tool this week that we'd be reviewing. We got a lot of positive feedback on the tool that we'd reviewed previously, the last week, which was the Quick Sprout website tool, which can be accessed at quicksprout.com. And then it's a great tool. It's kind of like SilkTide, the web scan that a lot of the ICs are familiar with, but a more compressed or more compact version of web scan. It gives you a lot of insightful information on a website. So we got a lot of positive feedback on that. Keeping that in mind, there's a similar tool that we're actually going to be reviewing this week, so stay tuned. Again, it's a free tool. You can utilize it, run reports. You can even get downloadable formats for those reports. I think if you need to put in your logo, that's a paid version, but you can definitely run the report for any of the sites totally for free. It's a really cool tool. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking about that tool, and then of course we'll be finishing off with the Q&A sessions. So definitely keep those questions coming. All right, terrific. Let's get started here. So our first news of the week, let's move on to that, is, okay, so this is pretty unbelievable news. It's pretty crazy, just fresh news straight off the press. Google's launching a do-it-yourself SEO tool for all businesses. So it's just come out. They've put the information out on this URL, google.com DIY SEO. They're going to offer free support to all small businesses with quality content building. They're going to give SEO tips. They'll have trained SEO call center agents to push this product all across small businesses all over North America and Europe. So, pretty big news, pretty huge news. And you know, hey, like as if we needed more competition in this world, right? This is exactly what we needed. So pretty incredible. So that's what's happening with Google. So thank you, Google, for this beautiful news. Next news of the day. I know I didn't start off with a very bright sort of a news feed, but the next news. Okay, guys, let me get back here. I had to do a little bit of an April Fool's Day prank. I was forced to do it, so my apologies. This news is not true. It is an April Fool's Day prank, so there is no DIY SEO tool there. That link below does not work. So, hey, happy April Fool's Day, everybody. Great. Okay, so now come to the factual news. This is all factual news that's taking place right now. So, Bing Ads launches the product ads in the US. Their mobile version now is in beta. For all of you that are actually familiar with product ads are basically little ads that showcase products on Google. So you have to have a Google Merchant Center for the product ads, and then when you actually type in specific keywords, you'll have your product ads getting displayed on Google that actually show you an image of the product, and then they show you the information like the name of the product, they show you the price of the product, and then they also show you the vendor or the merchant that's actually selling that product for that particular price. These are product ads. They were only available on Google, but Bing has now recently launched product ads even on their search engine. So if you're actually typing in specific queries, like in this example, somebody's typed in bouquet, and then you can actually see some of these ads that are running on Bing that actually have the product ads getting displayed on them. The process for setting up product ads in Bing is very similar to that in Google. You have to set up your product feed first in something called the Bing Merchant Center, and perhaps for one of the future Launchpad sessions we can actually have a demo on setting up a product feed. Again, we're getting a lot of requests for that, so in one of the future Launchpad sessions we'll actually do a live demo on setting up a merchant store and setting up your feed. But basically, as I mentioned, a very similar process. Go to the Bing Merchant Center, set up your product feed, upload all of your products in that Merchant Center, and then the Merchant Center syncs with your Bing Ad Center, the Bing PPC campaign interface, and you can start bidding on your keywords related to your product ads. So very, very similar sort of a process. It was a matter of time before Bing was going to launch this because it's really useful in like it's getting really high conversion rates and a lot of good feedback from the merchants in Google.com. And it's a great feature. So it was just a matter of time before Bing took a page off Google's books and actually did this for themselves. And then what's interesting is that they're also launching a separate mobile version, Bing, so as to capitalize on the mobile traffic, which is great. That's actually, if they're able to do that relatively quickly and efficiently, that's going to put them ahead of Google as far as the mobile game for the Merchant Center and the product ads is concerned. Great. So the next news was with regards to overall e-commerce revenue for merchants. So Costora is a company that basically produces intelligent information and reporting and competitive intelligence with regards to e-commerce and online marketing in general. What they do is that they basically track about 100 US retailers, large retailers, and about 70 million shoppers, and then they basically try and estimate trends as far as e-commerce revenue is concerned. So what they've noted is that the e-commerce revenue has climbed 10% in February as compared to last year in February, where it had only gone up by 1.5%. So this year's jump is pretty significant. So over 8.5% as far as an improvement is concerned. Again, something to focus on if you have clients that are in the e-commerce space, something to pay attention to as a strategy, because this is definitely on the rise. And more so with a lot more smartphone and mobile usage, e-commerce is only going to go up. They also looked at mobile e-commerce, and mobile e-commerce is also continuing to grow. The purchases that were made on smartphones and tablets have gone up to 14%, from 14% in 2013 to 19.5% this year. So that's also gone up by about 5 percentage points. So overall, e-commerce is going up, something definitely to pay attention to as far as a strategy for your clients is concerned. Great. So Matt Cutts had a pretty interesting question that was posed to him, and a lot of us are very curious about this as far as his response was concerned, his official response was concerned. Pretty used to seeing his face by now, because there's a lot of clarifications that are coming out from Matt Cutts on a regular basis, which is good. I mean, he's trying to help clarify a lot of the things that Google does behind the scenes, so as to make it a little more helpful for us. So this week's question that was posed to him was, what if my site's not ranking in Google? Do I blame it on a manual penalty? Do I blame it on an algorithmic change? Or do I just blame it on the content? So this was a question that was asked of him, because a lot of the times we see rankings fluctuate, we see a little bit of a drop in traffic, but we don't really know how to assess where the fault lies. And if it is a manual penalty, what to do? What to do about it? If it is an algorithmic change, is it permanent? Is it temporary? Is there anything that's on the site to blame for it? So there's a lot of questions that we have. If something like this happens to any of our prospects, right? So what Matt Cutts basically said was that if it is an algorithmic change, then it's very tough for you to decipher that, because he says that there's over 665 different changes that were rolled out in 2012. And then 2013 was no different. I think the number of changes that were minor and major changes that were rolled out were over 400 changes. And what he basically says is that on any given day, the odds are that we're rolling out some sort of algorithmic change. And we might be rolling out a couple, if not just one. So you might see fluctuations even on a day-to-day basis as far as your rankings are concerned, because there's some algorithmic change that the site might get captured in, or become a part of, and that's the reason why there's going to be fluctuations going up or going down. Long term, if you're playing by Google's rules, you should be okay. There might be minor fluctuations that get your site rankings up and down, but as long as you're playing by Google rules overall, you're pretty safe. So what he says is that, look, if we send you a warning in Google Webmaster Tools for either unnatural links or any sort of other warnings like a malware warning or something, then you definitely know what you need to do and why you've been served the penalty and what you need to do to fix it. But if we have not given you any sort of a warning, then your guess is as good as ours, because there's so many things that we're rolling out, so many algorithmic changes that we're rolling out. Take a look at the site. Take a look at best practices. They have the best practices guide. See as to, now there's tools that we can that we can look at to try and see as to what algorithmic change might potentially have impacted our traffic and our rankings. The Penguin Barracuda tool is great in order to see that. Basically what he's saying is that your guess is as good as mine. So you could have been impacted by any sort of an algorithmic change. Don't overreact, don't panic, see if it's temporary or permanent, and then make your changes and your decisions accordingly. But the only certain way to know that you've been given a penalty is when you actually get an official message or an official communication from Google. Great. So there was another very interesting question that was posed to him, and this is kind of interesting for a lot of the ICs that have larger clients that have multiple domains and different websites. And there was a lot of discussion and a lot of controversy on the fact that Google did not want you linking to all 20 or all 30 or all 40 sites because unfortunately the good domains might get trapped with the bad domains where there's some SEO companies or there's some clients out there, let's take the example of, a bankruptcy lawyer. Now a bankruptcy lawyer that's national sets up 50 different sites, each for every single state, right? So bankruptcy lawyer Chicago, bankruptcy lawyer California, bankruptcy lawyer New York, bankruptcy lawyer Texas. So they basically set up all these different websites that are all sort of like related, and then they link to each of these sites, right? So that's an issue for Google because that's technically spamming the search engine by creating multiple sites that are essentially serving the same purpose, because you can easily just have one site and then showcase the fact that you're national on that site and mention all your locations in these 50 states. That's the proper way to do it. So now, what if you are like let's say an Apple, or like you're a major car dealership, like you're a BMW or a Mercedes, and you actually have genuine country-specific sites across the board, and you have a lot of domains that are kind of like related, right? Like you launch a new car, you have to have a domain for it, a specific domain. So this was a question that was posed to him saying, what's the best practice on positioning links when you have multiple domains that are related? So again, what he said was that if you have 50 different sites, I would not suggest adding in all 50 sites down in the footer of your website, because that's going to start to look spammy. So don't go ahead and do that. What he suggests instead is to just have about 3 or 4 links in the footer, and one of the links should actually take the visitors to your global website where they can actually look at all the different domains that you have and then link accordingly. So that was his recommendation. Do not put in all the 50 links in the footer. Just go with 3 or 4 and put in your global page link in the footer so that people can go there, and then from that particular page they can choose whatever country-specific domain that they want to get into. That was his recommendation when it came to linking for multiple domains. Great, moving on. So Yahoo's building another version of YouTube. This has just apparently come out through one of the media outlets. So basically Yahoo is looking at they're going to debut a web-based video platform. The difference supposed to be the quality of content as far as Yahoo's video platform as compared to YouTube's video platform is concerned. So the difference is going to be the quality of content. Yahoo's going to be focusing on a lot more high quality and popular video content, and it's going to be vetted by the Yahoo editorial team so as to give the users a lot better experience, because if anybody's gone to YouTube recently, there's tons of spam in there, and it's pretty pretty amateurish and useless videos that are out there that can definitely eat up a lot of the bandwidth for YouTube. So Yahoo's coming up with that, and apparently it's supposed to be a better product, so we'll stay tuned for that. And the other news is that they're in discussions with Ryan Seacrest so as to really debut and push that channel out there. So they're discussing that in discussions with Ryan Seacrest to try and see if he can actually push that out there. Ryan Seacrest, for all of you, is a very popular show host. He actually hosts the American Idol on TV. So they're in talks with him actually being the spokesperson for the video version for their alternative to YouTube. So we'll keep you posted on this. Okay, so that was a pretty interesting whiteboard Friday session that Rand Fishkin had done at SEO Moz, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time in this because this was a very important topic that he addressed, and the whole topic was all about surviving the SEO slog. Okay, and he introduces something which is called the delta of dissatisfaction. So the entire post is, I'll show you where the post is. So this is the entire post. The link is on our website URL. I'm actually going to discuss this very briefly right now. What he basically talks about in surviving the SEO slog is that the SEO campaign, whenever you're setting up an SEO campaign with a client, right, goes through stages. And which is where setting up the right expectations right in the beginning of the campaign is so important for you, the ICs, along with the prospects. What happens is that when you launch a campaign initially, month 1 or 2, you get a lot better traction because let's say if you're dealing with a totally non-optimized website, there's no SEO that's been done on it, there's no link building that's been done on it, there's no content that's being written for that website, doesn't have any press releases, it's literally like, let's say, ground zero. And then you're trying to establish that website's online presence utilizing SEO as a tactic. So you start with the campaign, so you do all of the on-site in month 1. Most of the production centers work in the same way where they complete the on-site optimization in the first 30 days of the campaign. That includes header tags, image tags, meta tags, etc., and then the optimization of the content. And what that normally does is that because the site's never been optimized and all of a sudden the site gets optimized, so Google's index changes the ranking of the site fairly rapidly because the meta tags play a pretty important role. And in month 1 and month 2, the jump that you'll see as far as performance is concerned is quite interesting, and you'll see a nice little jump take place after month 1 and month 2 as far as the campaign is concerned. Now, once you reach a certain level, and in this instance, in this example, that level sort of like reached from month 3 and month 5 and month 6. That's where that sort of like that level's kind of reached. When you make changes after that level, when you have crossed this initial level, then it's tougher and tougher so as to get results, because as you get nearer and nearer to the top 10 rankings, in order for you to get jumps, each jump of even a couple of ranks is going to take a fairly long time for you to actually see that take place, and especially in today's day and age with Google getting so strict and hard in algorithm updates. So here's where this whole delta of dissatisfaction comes in with the prospects, because when they've seen the sort of a lift or the positive results that they've seen in month 1 and 2, and then after that they see the results sort of like stagnate from month 3 to 5, they sort of start getting dissatisfied. They're like, hey, the investment has not changed. It's pretty much the same amount of investment, but I'm not seeing the same kind of results that I was seeing in the first couple of months that I saw. The activities kind of like, taper off. So that's the delta of dissatisfaction, and which is what we have to be ready for and educate our clients that this is usually what the process is, and you're going to hit this plateau, and beyond this plateau, when we're making all these changes and when we're doing all the work, the results are not going to be that great. They would be coming, they'd be sustained, but they would not be like significant jumps that you'll see on a month-to-month basis, because once you're in the top 10, in order to beat every position, it takes a long time. For example, we've had one client in the nonprofit industry fighting World Vision for the top spot for the longest time. From position 5, we've been able to move it to position 3, and it's taken us about 9 months or 10 months to do that in order to just get it up a couple of positions, because we can't just do a whole bunch of link building. That's going to be spammy and we might get penalized for it, and we can't really just keyword stuff that page that's actually ranking well. So we have to kind of strike a fine balance. And that's why it's taken us 9 to 10 months to get that client up 2 spots, because it's a very, very lucrative keyword that we're trying to rank for. And then we've seen them jump, 1 spot up and 1 spot down. It did hit the 2nd spot, then it bounced back to the 3rd spot, and that's what we're basically up against right now. So the first, so this is the whole delta of dissatisfaction, where prospects and your clients stand to be the most disappointed, and which is why you need to manage this whole delta of dissatisfaction so you don't fall into this trap. Basically, Rand gives 4 tips in order to manage that. He talks about creating the right expectations at the beginning of the campaign, which is really important. The second thing is, when things are going well, don't celebrate and project ever-increasing growth. Always create a contingency plans and a conservative budget. So month 1 and 2, when you see significant rises in traffic and in rankings, don't use that as the benchmark for your projection, saying, yep, since we did in the first 2 months, we're actually going to end up doing this in the next 2 months. Nope, that is incorrect, because you are going to start hitting diminishing returns in SEO after a certain point, where a lot of effort is going to yield little results. Whereas in the beginning, it's the other way around, where little effort can yield a lot of results because there is no background. You're at ground zero, so the only way you can go is up, right? The other thing is, make sure SEO is not the only inbound traffic channel. Diversify, because again, if you're in a competitive business online today, you cannot just survive in SEO. SEO is too volatile. If there is obviously an issue with budgets, then it's understandable that you're only leaning on one particular vertical, but it's not smart business sense. If you're a businessman, if you're a small business owner, you have to keep your marketing tactics diversified. You cannot just rely and rest on one marketing tactic alone every month so as to generate and hope for it to generate the results. You always have to keep looking for that next best tactic that's going to get you what you're looking for, whether it's leads, conversions, sales, whatever your conversion metric is. And then the 4th tip that Rand provides is the fact that you measure and report leading indicators that show potential upsides or slowdowns in addition to the KPIs, whether it's your bounce rates, whether it's your rankings, whether it's your traffic, whether it's average time on page, average time on site, total impressions, whatever your key metrics are. Make sure that you're always reporting them along with your major KPIs, which can be conversions or leads or what have you, so that the client can see a progress across the different metrics and not just focus on one particular metric, whether it's conversions or revenue. So there's like a whole bunch of different metrics that you're reporting on, so the client understands the whole overall picture. So you might not show, let's say, an improvement in rankings, but you'll show an improvement in the number of inbound links that are pointing to the website, which in turn, in due course, is going to also lead to increased rankings, provided that the links are of good quality. So this was a very interesting webinar that he did. So I really suggest everybody just take a little bit of time whenever you have some time to just watch the video. It's a pretty quick video, 8 minutes, and he addresses this whole SEO slog phase, which causes the delta of dissatisfaction with a lot of the prospects, and basically on how to avoid it. So there's a nice little map over here, a little chart, the graph of gap of disappointment, etc., that he's kind of plotted out. So a very important concept that has been plotted out very, very nicely by Rand. So I suggest you spend a little bit of time on it. Excellent. Moving on. I did want to spend a little bit of time on the new title tag guidelines and the preview tool because this is really, really important information. I wanted to make sure that all the ICs that are part of this webinar have digested this information. Since Google has changed the font size, the title tag lengths are also recommended to be changed, and the safe title tag length is no longer 70 characters as it was previously. Your title tag should now ideally be between 55 and 60 characters. We cannot give you an exact number because the font size kind of is a little it's a little wonky because based on the display, the number of characters can change. But Dr. Pete from Moz had done a lot of experiments. He tested out a lot of different searches, and according to his research analysis, 55 to 60 characters is now the safe number for a title tag. And if you're interested, there is actually a full explanation on this particular topic, which is right here in this link. So that is Dr. Pete Myers. He posted it on the 20th of March, new title tag guidelines in the preview tool. So he came up with the new title tag guidelines, which was 55 to 60 characters, and then Moz also previewed their title tag preview tool. So you can put in your text, you can enter your search phrase, hit the search box over there, and then you'll get a preview of how your title tag is going to be looking with the new font that Google has introduced for their search engine. So it was really important news, so that's why we thought we'd repeat this. We also covered this in our previous webinar, but very, very important news. All right, moving along. So there's another very interesting topic, which is objection handling with SEO, that was discussed by Aaron Wall, who is the owner of SEO Book. Great guy. We interviewed him about 3 months back, and we posted the interview on our website. Our website, by the way, is also undergoing a total revamp. We'll be launching a new website in the next couple of months. Promise you, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be really exciting. It's a really cool website that we're working on right now. So we're very excited to launch that in the summertime. And it's going to be a lot of benefit for the ICs, because there's going to be a lot of resources and sections in the website that we'll be giving you access to, including a lot of tools. So Aaron Wall came up with this blog post that he did recently about handling objections from the SEO clients, and I found it to be really useful, and I'm pretty sure at some point in time all of us have come across this when we're chasing our prospects. So it's good to kind of have these questions documented and see what the official responses are as far as these questions are concerned. So one of the things that he talks about is the prospects or the clients simply saying, hey, forget about SEO, it's taking too long, it's too hard, it's too complicated, why do like there's no fixed rules, the results are unpredictable, so why am I spending time and money in SEO if it's so complicated, right? And the appropriate response that he mentions, Aaron Wall mentions, is very simple. Your competitors are doing it, so that's the reason why you should do it too. And then he goes on to talk more about the objection. Building a website is kind of like starting a race. Some site owners think that's all they need to do, but the race is only starting when you actually launch your website. The real work starts after the website is actually launched. So that was one objection that a lot of people have. Then the second objection is, can't SEOs do the thing after the website is built? Again, short answer, no, and he talks about 3 key areas where SEO is needed to integrate with the design. Firstly, if you want to make sure that the text is readable by the machines and you're using the right language and platform and infrastructure for the website, linking architecture is important, and crawlability is important. So that's the reason why when you're launching a website or your client's launching a website, it's so important to kind of be in sync with them and provide your consulting expertise during this whole phase, because you don't want a fiasco and then the site is built and then after that they get you in, and then now you're dealing with a pretty huge problem that could have been solved if you were working in sync with them. So we suggest a lot of the ICs to sell 5 hours of consulting in blocks when the website is getting built by the prospect and the ICs are not handling the website build. We suggest that they do consulting. The other objection is we don't want the SEO to interfere with the code. Well, unfortunately, SEO would interfere with the code because we do need to tweak the meta tags. We do need to change the alt attributes for images, etc. So a little bit of coding is definitely involved as far as the SEO process is concerned. Then he also talks about URLs. Make sure that the URLs right here, make sure that the URLs are with friendly structures and not these numbers and dynamic, because that's not SEO friendly. The other misconception is that a lot of the prospects, the clients say, hey, I've got an SEO plugin, that's all I need. Well, the SEO plugin is just something that's out there to facilitate you doing proper and good SEO, to make things easy for you. But the SEO plugin is not the end all. You don't just put an SEO plugin on the website and expect that SEO plugin to do all of the SEO for you. No, it's just a tool so as to help you to do SEO better. So that's really what a plugin is, and that's how you kind of justify it. And again, he's got a pretty elaborate explanation in the webinar, in this blog post. The SEO is just another technician. you cannot be further from the truth as far as this particular statement is concerned, because an SEO is much more than a technician. He's kind of like your strategic marketing guy, because SEO is just another tactic in the marketing arsenal, and you should not consider SEOs as technicians, which is why webmasters a lot of the times are not SEO people, because SEO and web development, although being sort of like related, but are two different things. A coder cannot be a specialist SEO. He can if he chooses to, and he has expertise in that and experience in that area, but more often than not, programmers specialize in programming, and then you have the SEO guys that are specializing in SEO. This is a very, very frequent question that I'm sure a lot of the clients and prospects have when you're discussing campaigns or potentially pitching them. Why have our rankings disappeared? Again, we put in the comment by Matt Cutts. There's over 550 algorithm updates that were made alone in 2012, and a pretty similar number in 2013. So changes happen. Things go up and down. If you had done SEO 5 years back, perhaps you have spammy links, you have keyword stuffing in your website. There can be so many reasons, and this is where investigating it comes into play. Here's where I'd like to make another point, where when you come across a site that's potentially penalized, it's not your responsibility to identify the penalty and then give a recommendation to the client. That's technically a billable activity. So when you go in there and you actually see that the website's potentially penalized, put in a package together saying that, look, for me to assess what it's going to be as far as your penalty and a recovery strategy is concerned is going to be X amount of dollars. Do not just provide it for free, because that's valuable expertise that you're just giving away. And I see a lot of the ICs doing that. So that should be a billable activity. Agencies out there bill for that activity. It's just for the diagnostic alone, and then the fix is totally different. So do not give away that activity unless you want to use it as a negotiating tool, so that this way you can position it to the guy saying, look, I normally bill for this activity, but I'm going to give this to you because I want your business long term, as long as you position it correctly. But just don't give it away, because it is a pretty it's a billable activity for you to diagnose the issue. The other challenge is, why don't we just use PPC instead? Sure, you can, but the old adage is that PPCs, as it says, pay per click. It is definitely a more expensive strategy. You have to pay for the click. It is also quite volatile, because you might have a competitor come in with deeper pockets and just totally wipe you away and take all the profits, because they have deeper pockets than you, and they'll be just pretty much beating you on every single keyword and getting all the leads. So PPC has its advantages and its disadvantages, which is the reason why you just can't do PPC alone. You have to have all these strategies working together. And the last question that Aaron Wall tackles is, does SEO provide value for money? And this can be justified in a couple of ways. One is the increase in traffic and conversions that SEO has demonstrated over the course of the contract, and that can be looked at and is quite documented in Google Analytics. Or you can also talk about comparing SEO and PPC. So you look at all the visits that SEO generated and then go times the average bid for keywords in that industry. So let's say SEO generated 4,000 visits over the course of 12 months. And in that industry, the average CPC is, let's say, $2 for every click that is generated. So technically, for those 4,000 visits, the individual would have had to pay $8,000 on a PPC campaign, whereas let's say on the SEO, he paid you a $5,000 fee for a 12-month contract, or a $6,000 fee for a contract. There you go. And this is organic traffic. It's not going to dip it like PPC, where you switch it on and switch it off. He's actually going to be consistently getting this traffic. So it's not just that immediate return that he received, it's also that ongoing residual that he's getting with this traffic for free based on all the work that you've done. So that's like some of the ways to justify how SEO provides value for money. Great post. Again, we went through this pretty quick, but do spend time on it and use some of these objection handling techniques with your clients. Great. Okay, so normally I'd hand it over to Armando at this stage for a case study, but I've got to keep going. He's not here. So so the tool of the week is WooRank. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this tool because it's gained a lot of popularity over the last 6 months or so, I'd say. We discovered this tool about a year back, and then we started using it for our clients, and it's only gotten better and better and better. The features have gotten way better. The interface has gotten way better. So it's getting to be a pretty cool tool. So let's take a look at this tool and see what information it gives us. Okay, so this the website is woorank.com, very simple, woorank.com, and then you go in, you type in your website. So let's go to Neil Patel's website, quicksprout.com, and let's do a website review for him. It's pretty quick as well, so all you do is just put in the website URL and then hit the start icon, and it's going to start generating a report for you. My apologies, I should have done this in advance, but it doesn't take a lot of time. And the way that WooRank breaks down the information is fairly similar to how you have your web scan breaking down the information. It breaks down the review into different sections. So on the left hand side you can see all the different sections that it's going to basically be reviewing. What your top priorities are, feedback on your internal pages, feedback on your visitors, feedback on local, because it gives you some feedback on local as well, your social tactics, mobile, some tips on your SEO, tips on usability, and tips on technologies in terms of what can be done so as to get the campaign to work a little bit better. So as this report is running, it gives you a score. First of all, right at the top, the scores are 100. The higher the better. And then the first area that it looks at is visitors. Gives you a traffic estimation from low to extremely high. So as we can see, QuickSprout is getting a lot of traffic. So the overall score is 72. The report just finished. So the overall traffic is very high, which is great. Traffic rank, it's the 1284th most visited website in the world. QuickSprout, Neil Patel gets a lot of traffic from India. It's the 344th most visited website in India. It looks at AdWords traffic. There is no AdWords traffic right now that we can see for this particular website. Neil does not do any PPC advertising. You can see your visitors localizations. You can see he's getting a lot of traffic from North America. He's getting traffic, and he's getting a lot of traffic from India. So you can see that there's that area. And then he's also getting a lot of traffic, interestingly, from, I believe it's the West Coast. So he's getting a lot of traffic even from there, which is kind of interesting. And then it shows you a little snapshot of your local directories. So this guy's missing his profile in Google Places, yeah, because he doesn't want to be displaying his address, missing a profile on Foursquare, missing a profile on Yelp. So QuickSprout's local presence is quite weak, understandably so, because they don't want to have a local presence, right? Looks at your social shareability, number of Facebook likes, shares, comments, Twitter backlinks, delicious bookmarks, stumble upon, Google Plus gives you a quick feedback on that. Gives you a quick look at his Facebook page, what it looks like, and the information on the Facebook page, including his telephone number. Interesting. Time to spam him. Mobile. So in this case, it did not generate a mobile version of the website, probably because QuickSprout might have banned this particular crawler from coming in and indexing its website. Probably that's the reason why. But I ran the report yesterday, and we were able to see what his site looks like on a tablet and a smartphone. So I'm pretty sure if you run a report for a different client, you'd be able to see what their site looks like on a smartphone and a tablet. What's the mobile load time? It ranks you from slow to very fast. He's fast, that's good. That gives you some pointers on mobile optimization tips. Then gives you a lot of tips on SEO. URL rewrites, robots.txt, XML sitemap, Google Preview, title. Again, I think it's been banned. QuickSprout banned this particular crawler because it's not even able to capture the title tag. Otherwise, you get the title, description, the meta keywords, the header tags, the images, etc., etc. Here's the major keywords that are appearing on this guy's first page. Here's the other related websites. It's kind of gives you an indication of related websites that are related to this particular site that we just ran through the report. Popular pages, so it's going to try and take an indication of what the popular pages are on his website. Domain registration and expiration. The URL. Does it have a favicon, a custom 404 page, load time, language, domain availability? So you see there's all these different versions of QuickSprout that you could potentially pick up. The typos as well. So this is also very important, because if there is a frequent misspelled version of the domain, then you can potentially pick it up, and just pick up that domain, 301 it to your main site, so that this way if anybody misspells your domain, you're still getting that traffic. This is an important tactic. Looks at technologies that are on your site, your server IP, where your server is located, your tips for your speed, W3C validity, etc., etc. So as you can see, it's a pretty comprehensive report. Again, the accuracy, take the information with a grain of salt, because some of the information is not 100% accurate. With all these free reports, you cannot get 100% accuracy because they don't really have access to the website. They're just sending a crawler on the website externally to try and gauge an idea of what the website's all about. So none of these free reports are going to be 100% accurate. That can only be once you have access to the website, and you probably do some reports once you have the access and look at the back end. But it's 90% accurate, so it gives you a pretty good idea of what you're dealing with when it comes to competitor analysis, competitor site reviews, etc. And again, the best part, it's free, so you can run this report as many times as you want during the day. And if you actually do start your free trial, then you can start saving versions of these reports in your login interface and keep a record of how things are getting better with your sites, or keep a tab on your competition. So this is what we wanted to talk about this week. A pretty cool tool. Hope you found this beneficial and utilize this. Moving on, I think we need no introduction by now. You guys know about us and our service offerings, and then here's our contact information. If you need to get a hold of Armando or myself, feel free to utilize those emails or the toll-free telephone number. Excellent. Let's move to questions. No questions today, but Mark and Felipe had a nice little comment there. So yeah, we're safe, guys. There's no DIY SEO being launched by Google, but imagine if it does. That'd be pretty crazy. Great. Well, hope everybody has a terrific 1st of April and April Fool's Day. Hope there's no more pranks in store for you. Have a terrific week, and we'll see everybody next week. Great. Thank you.